Hello, welcome to Love Food, Hate Money podcast, where we talk about food and how much money we spend on it. I understand that there's some first timers and welcome backs. It's great to have everyone join us. I will be one of your hosts, Jonah. This will be the co-host, Courtney.
Hey.
And let's jump right into what we're drinking right now. So we've got matching pink drinks today, but not the Starbucks pink drink that most people are going to picture when I say it.
It is that color, though.
Same color. It's the same color for both of them, except you've got the mocktail version and I've got the real deal. You're coming off of getting your ass kicked by COVID booster.
Yep.
So you're in the middle of your Powerade and ginger ale extravaganza. You're drinking some strawberry lemonade Powerade.
Yeah.
And then I'm drinking your favorite out of the two of them, the alcoholic version. Talk a little bit about it.
I've never had something give me heartburn so instantaneously in my life. Like, the taste on that isn't awful. Like, I will give it that.
It's pretty bad.
But, like, if I'm going to drink something and it hurts me, like, I don't want to drink it.
Immediate pain. Yeah. So when we started drinking, obviously, the cheaper the better. And when we started drinking wine, that equaled Boda Box. And we were out on, like, a random just piddle around. I was out piddling around fries, and you were just along for the ride. You were not up for it.
I was dying, but I was there.
You were there, but with not enough ability to stop me from buying some absolute trash, because Boda Box now does prepackaged Bodaritas. They had classic and strawberry, and they are wine spirits, I think is what the box says, that's sweetened with agave and natural flavors. And it is drinking battery acid and jet fuel simultaneously. But it was like 10 margaritas for basically $10 because it was on sale. So
well, I wonder why it was on sale.
You really get what you pay for on that one.
Boda, if you want to sponsor us and have us just taste your product before you just throw it out into the market willy-nilly, we'd be happy to do that.
More than happy, because most of your products are like
palatable.
They get the job done.
Yeah.
They're a great gateway into wine. I also appreciate the actual, like, yeah, you can take it with you to the pool instead of, like, it's kind of a drag to want to drink a bottle of wine at the pool and then no glass allowed, baby. So it's nice to have something in a slappable bag, especially Bodaritas.
No.
If it weren't for the fact that I drink probably 2 liters plus soda a day between the ages of, like, 10 and 18, I'm pretty sure that this would erode my esophagus, but it's ironclad at this point.
That's why I can't drink it. So we just got through another brunch holiday. There's, in my mind, 2 really big brunch holidays.
I think in most people's mind, it's only 2. I don't think Father's Day, like, dads don't brunch.
I think dads should get brunch, though.
That just creates another brunch holiday, and that's a separate problem.
But you were drinking your Bodorita and you were like, trash people would drink this. And that got us on the topic of the kind of people who go out and have brunch during the brunch holidays, because they aren't your normal brunch crowd. They only go out for those times. And I can attest to that simply because I come from a family that only does brunch on the brunch holidays.
Yeah, you're a big your family is real into the holidays on the holiday, and those people specifically that go out to the restaurants those days, like, they are as good at eating out at restaurants as Christmas and Easter Christians are at being Christians. It is sloppy. It is makeshift. But damn it if they're not enjoying themselves.
I think my favorite thing, though, is people go out for brunch on these holidays and they expect this certain level of service, but the restaurant is already serving 3 times as many people as they would normally serve at that time. And your party is of 17 people.
And it's so much harder to, like, once you get a party that size started, it's easy enough to, like, kind of keep it going. But, like, if you're a party... If you are at Mother's Day and 12 of you are drinking different types of mimosas, it's going to be a different type of difficult to get you all your mimosas readily filled. Because people also go out on that brunch and they're like, well, I'm surprised I'm not drunk already. Just go absolutely hammer balls to the walls.
Well, you know why? It's because they're with family that they probably haven't seen in a few months. And so they're like,
let's make the worst impression on Mima. Billy, it's been so long since I've seen you. Why don't you ever come around? Sorry, Mom.
You've had the pleasure of working brunch holidays at places that did a pretty big brunch, like at the resort.
Yeah.
Like, how bad was it though?
It was always interesting. The thing that is crazy is the size of tables that will come in, where it's like, ah, yes, me and my 19 offspring. Like, Jesus, woman, keep it out of your pants. Why are there so many kids here? And the kids that go out on the brunch holidays are the ones that aren't allowed to go out any other day.
Right, they're locked away.
So, like, once they get out of Rapunzel's tower, they swing their frying pans, and it's
just lizards everywhere.
Total anarchy. But I think overall they're pretty fun, especially like the resort ones, because there's two different hellscapes on the brunch holiday menu. There's the a la carte, but we've got like 5 different versions. We got 5 simple versions of everything.
Right.
5 different types of mimosas, 5 different types of eggs Benedicts, 5 different types of French toast. Good luck, Godspeed. And then there's the resort one in particular was always the buffet service, and buffet service is so much fun because then it's just almost like going to an all-you-can-eat sushi spot and seeing how many plates you can collect at one go, because there's no other way to try and maintain a table in that environment other than like running around with one hand full of coffee, another hand full of orange juice, and God's will behind you. That's the only thing that can get.
What is like the grossest thing though you've seen when working at brunch though? Like, was it on the buffet table? Was it actually at somebody's table?
I mean, it's always like a kid eating a bite out of a bagel and then just throwing it into the bagel heap and stuff like that, where they're just like, I got what I needed out of that. It can go back. Don't want to be wasteful.
That's it. That's all for me.
That's more than enough.
Stuffed.
If I eat any more than that one bite of this bagel, and then, oh wait, I'll try that bagel too. Actually, I'll put that one back. You go back to the bagel ring, and there's just like a bite out of each bagel. That was at the resort too. They served the bagels on like these like steaks.
Oh my god! It was
almost like one of those like children's play toys, and they treated it like such.
They're like the ring stacking toys,
where they are like different sizes, and they're like, well, they're all the same size, so how do I know which one goes on first? I'll just taste them all.
I want to say the worst thing I've seen attending a brunch buffet was a kid sticking their hand in yogurt and then just all over their face.
Oh, we had people always steal the syrup container, because there would always be like a pot of warm syrup. And, like,
on the buffet?
Yeah, and like a gravy boat or a little genie jar, and there would always be a kid that's like, hell yeah, just take the whole thing.
I need this.
So many grumpy old people would come up and be like, you don't even have any syrup for your pancakes, and you'd be like, we did at one point. And then you look over and there's a kid with just like cascading syrup.
He's just pouring it on his body in the middle of the dining room.
Like, it's over there. Go get it. You can fight him for it. Good luck.
Its own special thing, because they also like haven't been out to eat in a group setting other than at like 4:00 for dinner at like a Chili's. And then you bring them out and they're like, where's my server? You're like, it's a buffet. And they're like, okay, and?
Yes, and. I want to put in a special order for eggs. Okay, what kind would you like? I need my server first. I could put in an egg order for you. No, I need to talk to my server. Okie dokie. Have fun. I don't even know who your server is, but I hope you find them too. It probably is me. I don't know what's happening anymore. Half of that service is literally just like looking around and being like, I don't know what's happening.
And then the only worst place to be is in the kitchen on those days, because brunch food's not hard, but when you have to crank out that much of it that fast, it's not fun.
Always over easy. Always over easy. Always over easy. Pop.
Oh, it reminds me a lot of, you used to work at a breakfast restaurant.
Yeah.
And Sundays were freaking nightmare, and I used to wash dishes there on Sundays.
Yep.
And just the sheer volume that you can do with breakfast food is insane. But like,
ideally it's pretty much ready to go. Like, you're looking at 3 minutes cooking at any given point, because you're sandbagging trays and trays of bacon. Your sausage is pretty much ready to go. You just got to reheat it a little bit. Eggs, if you're taking more than 2 minutes, something probably went wrong.
Right.
Unless you're doing like an over hard egg with all the little crispy bitties on the outside. Good luck for the people that like those. I actually don't mind them because I grew up eating eggs like that, but
yeah.
But that was also like drenched in bacon grease.
That does make it better. But what blows my mind about the number of people who go out is just the lack of understanding from other customers that there's going to be a wait.
Well, it's gonna be an hour wait before we can seat you, and then as soon as they're sat there, like, perfect, I'm in. This is gonna be fast. No, it took an hour to like get
To
to
get
this
you in
point.
here, yeah.
Why? Like the next steps are gonna go faster, but not as fast as you're expecting. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, when you go out to brunch, specifically on holidays, but I would say in general, because even one of our favorite places to get brunch, like at 10 o'clock, there's a line. Like you have to understand that, like, you're not the only one who thinks this is a fun thing to do today.
I think that's probably why industry people in general hate brunch, is because it attracts the most non-industry people.
Yeah.
Like the most people that are just they're not here for a long time. They're just here for a good time, and they are wild at a minimum.
What I think too, like there's this weird like aesthetic and culture now around brunch where it's like you get all your girls together and we go do brunch, and it's kind of like become a stereotype almost.
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of like, ew, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, the stereotype associated with it is a little bit cringy. It's all about being Instagrammable.
Well, you have a lot of restaurants that also lean into that, where they're only open like for brunch on the weekends, and they make everything really cutesy, and it's all like there's no substance to it. It's very much like the food is like okay. The drinks are like bottomless mimosas for a penny, because that's the liquor laws here.
Yep.
But it's all about like the pictures and the experience, and that I don't understand that, because the amount of money that you're paying for such cheap food is not worth the aesthetic for me.
No, you're better off just like learning how to make your own mimosas by pouring some orange juice into your bubbly, and you figured it out, bud.
That's too hard. But if you had to pick a brunch food, like what would be your favorite brunch food?
My favorite brunch food is our Benedict's, just across the board in general. Just funny because most of the things on a Benedict I don't like, but better than the sum of its parts.
Wait, what parts do you not like?
Well, like hollandaise by itself is a bit odd. Like it's just butter, egg sauce.
It's just hot mayonnaise.
Hot mayo, baby. Just
your favorite thing. Slather it on.
Cold mayo wasn't for you. May I interest you in some hot mayo? English muffins are probably some of the worst types of bread.
You literally just bought some yesterday.
Yeah, because they're already ready to go. But I bought sourdough ones, so they fill their need. And yeah, I mean, most like a standard Benedict where you've just got like the ham on it's kind of lame.
You like the jazzy, fancy, like we
yeah.
put gochujang in the hollandaise, so it's Korean now, and you're like, what?
And we threw on one piece of kimchi.
It's the
most. It is the most Korean Benedict you'll ever have. They always come up with real funny, dumb names on that stuff too, which is enjoyable. Where it's like, yes, this is our soul. This is our Gangnam Style Benedict.
Oh, that's a good one. I would say it's really hard to pick because I don't really care for breakfast foods.
Why?
Because I don't know. It's just, it always like makes you kind of feel like trash after. Like it's just so heavy. But of course, like if I had to pick one, it would be something stupid like chicken and waffles, which is like the heaviest thing.
I would have said that, or like biscuits and gravy for you because you ate so much of it.
But I grew up on that, and honestly, nobody does it the same way as my family does, so it's never like scratching the itch for me.
Yeah, they make it tasty, but they make it wrong.
Yeah, but it's tradition.
I don't think I've ever had a biscuit that's simultaneously like under and overcooked. It's a miracle.
I think that's probably like, I'm probably the 4th generation person to make that recipe, and eventually we'll like get it nailed down to actually be a written recipe, but you can only do it by feel. It's a very specific biscuits and gravy.
What she's saying is that she comes from a long line of biscuit feelers.
We just really like the way they feel in our hands.
I like the texture of it in my hand. May I please touch your biscuit?
No, too dense.
Oh, that's a thick skit.
Like a fluffy biscuit.
Ooh. But I like Benedict for my brunch item because it's pretty. And we were talking about it a little bit before, but there's a misconception of how hard they are to make because you can tighten it up and like make it pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot of just things to do, lots of separate parts if you want it to be done well. Like you have to have your pot with your water in it to poach your egg.
eggs.
You've gotta
toast your English muffin.
toast English
hopefully
muffin.
in butter or bacon fat.
Toasted in fat. You've got the whatever is going on it cooking in probably a separate vessel because
crisp your meat.
Gotta crisp meats, and you can sometimes use the crisp meats vessel for the muffin itself, but sometimes it's been there too long and you're gonna just get all the little burnt bitties. So like you gotta play that one by ear.
Yeah.
And then hollandaise is easy enough to make it with a blender, and if you're not doing it the blender method, good luck.
You just hate your wrist.
That's such a. I remember in culinary school being like, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
And that's funny too, because that was what I think second week of school was mother sauces.
Yeah.
Because the first week our hands were all bleeding from knife cuts.
My left hand, baby.
Yeah, like making all that stuff's not hard. It's the time behind it, and like you're gonna use a lot of dishes to get it
a lot
done.
of dishes, then you have to spend a lot of time doing the dishes afterward. And so, I get the brunch spots being like, this is $17, but like, man, you can buy everything for a Benedict for a whole unit for $17.
Oh yeah, your ingredient cost on that is so low.
Eggs cost nothing, English muffins cost nothing, butter costs something, but barely.
Well, you would think with the theme of our podcast, like the hating money part, that we would be okay with just going out to brunch and being like, yeah, here's $60, $70.
Grip and rip, baby.
No, we have standards, okay?
It's all about the value. Like, if you're gonna, I don't know. There's also, it's not that enjoyable. Like, hot mayonnaise is good, but it's not that good.
There's only really one place I can think of that I actually enjoy going to brunch, which would be Valentine, because of that stupid fucking perfect breakfast sandwich.
That sandwich
that
is
Donnie makes.
My favorite thing in the state.
If he changes it, we'll have to fight him.
Or just have him make it for us on the low. Can you get me some of that black market raclette pimento, please?
Oh, so good. Well, and I think the other thing too that's so funny about brunch is like the alcohol markups. Like people think they're getting a really great deal when they do the bottomless mimosas and stuff. But like
they just aren't making as much money on that. They're still making money, just not as much.
Right. Like if you were to go out and get like a decent bottle of champagne, like let's say at one of the like locally owned bottle shops, like what would that run you?
I wouldn't use champagne for mimosa. I'd probably just use Prosecco or Cava, so it'd be even cheaper. You can get the champagne for like 20 probably if you're getting actual champagne. But like the Prosecco and Cava, I think there's, what is it? 1926 is the like label on it. I think it's like $12 a bottle, so you can get.
Everybody can get their own bottle.
Yeah, everybody could get their own whole bottle, and if you're doing that, if you're drinking a whole bottle of bubbles at brunch, woof, it's gonna be a long day. I've done it before, and I've lived that long day. Yeah, it just like I know it probably costs, and that's after the markup too. Not even talking about how much the restaurant's actually getting at. So you're looking at like $5 a bottle is what they're getting it for. So if they charge you $12 for this will never end mimosas, like you have to drink 3 bottles of wine before they're worried about it.
Right, and
like,
they're also cutting it with like cheap orange juice at that point. So
or even if they're doing the expensive orange juice, like it's not that like it's they're winning. You will spend more money than it costs.
Right, so
they don't play to lose games.
You get the $12 bottle, you buy one whole orange for garnish, because honestly, when people want mimosas, it's really what they want is just that little like splash of orange juice. I just like a LaCroix mimosa.
Yeah.
Like that's what we really want. Like TV static orange in the champagne or Prosecco or Cava.
I think it's funny that more places don't do like a cheeky little like dropper for the orange juice and be like, here you go, here's your special orange juice dropper. You can decide how much you want.
Don't get too crazy.
There's a whole ounce in there. Ooh.
Although I will say, I think like you would really enjoy working in some of the more aesthetic, because you've really only worked at like the resort for brunch. But I think if you had to work at one of the aesthetic brunch spots, you would probably really enjoy that.
I'd also,
because you're just a character.
Yeah, the whole thing's about the experience and like the nonsense of it all. So I'd probably do well. I was talking at work the other day and they were like, why do you think you're good at your job? And I was just like, for the comedy. They looked at me so like,
that's disrespectful.
yeah, they were, and then I had to go on to explain like, no, like this whole thing is a show, and like I love the show, and I love like food in general, like that's the
Yeah.
best. But the actual like active service is this weird halfway to being an actor where you're just like, oh yes, let me go ahead and do that thing for you, but in the back of your mind you're just like, I really hope that you go away and forget how to walk. Not that they can't walk, they just forget how to. Like, just don't ever come back. It's fine. Never be seen here again.
I feel like though the people that play along and enjoy the humor and the comedy and like the fun of eating out are like your bread and butter though.
Yeah, there are lots of fun people. Like, there's plenty of fun people that interact with when you're going out to eat, and it's usually pretty easy to read. I like when the old people are the ones that are fun, or older, I guess.
Sure.
Who might have old shames?
Ageist.
2022, year of our Jesus.
No, it's the year of Lizzo or Harry Styles. You can take your pick.
Probably Harry Styles.
It's a good choice.
Why is it his year?
Just is.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the serving is really about, you know, the comedy and the experience. So the fact that you're able to like provide that for your guests, I think makes it really fun.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, there's something about being on the floor and running around. Like, the level of service that you provide at brunch is typically a little bit different, which is why I think it's really funny when places that have a certain standard of service don't try to modify that standard for brunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about like the turn and burn and like get going. And there's some places that are just like, no, let's still like be elevated, and we'll clear plates in between courses. And like, no one wants that. They want to take their picture of the pretty plate of food for the first 30 seconds. They're gonna smash it. They're gonna drink their bottle of wine, and they're gonna run away and pretend this never happened.
You just got to get through it.
It's a very get through it scenario. Lots of fun.
As far as like breakfast foods though, like I'm not a fan. Like, do you prefer like a certain, I don't know, like there's certain types of restaurants.
Taco Bell.
I was trying to find like a really artful way to ask you about your favorite breakfast, but you got to it.
It slaps, baby. It's all about the value. Their bacon bits that they use in their breakfast food are super gnarly.
I think it's the same crap you buy in the shaker bottles.
Yeah, but they're weirder than those ones too, because they're a little bit more chewy.
Mm-hmm.
As I've had lots of bacon bits in my day. Let's not get that crossed. There's nothing like going to a salad bar and then just like piling on the bacon bits onto your salads.
Ugh.
Yeah, I would say in general breakfast food is like, I like bacon a lot, so that's pretty fun, I guess. I don't know. Everything tastes like bacon. You eat bacon and it all tastes like bacon. It's fine.
I don't know how you do the bacon at the fast food restaurants. Like, I always prefer the sausage, even though it seems more like mystery meat. For some reason, always tastes better to me.
I don't like breakfast sausage flavor profile, just in general.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's the abundance of the ground, like the powdered sage. I think that's what goes into most breakfast sausages in general, and I like it with poultry. I bet if it was a turkey breakfast sausage, I'd probably be more into it because I like turkey and sage.
It'd be really dry and gnarly.
Mm-hmm. Me, baby.
Yeah. Well, I think the moral of the story here is skip brunch, have a McGriddle, and then go buy a bottle of Prosecco or Cava and an orange and take yourself to the park. Just have a nice time.
Yeah, I think it's funny that our favorite, like, of all the meals of the day, the fast food restaurants are the ones where we have actually like preferred breakfast.
It's because we're trash.
I think there's something to be said for the convenience of it too. And like circling back to the Eggs Benedict, like it's easy, but it's going to take me all in 2 hours to deal with this nonsense. Like getting everything prepped, actually cooking, eating, all of the extra dishes that you have to do. Like
being half drunk while you're doing it.
Yeah, because you already had half of your mimosa, your whole bottle mosa.
Yep.
So there's something to be said of like, oh, well, I woke up and I'm slightly hungover. I'm just going to go to this closest restaurant, McDonald's, Taco Bell, whatever the hell it is, and pick up something greasy.
Yep.
Honestly, doesn't taste too far off. Like, yeah, there's a pretty significant quality difference between getting a Niman Ranch bacon and Bacon Bits at Taco Bell.
Right.
But
the expectation and like the cost are so different though, that if you want the more expensive thing, go get the more expensive thing. Like, what is that? You were watching some YouTuber the other day. And what did he say? The buy once, cry once.
Oh yeah, I was watching a fitness YouTuber, Jujimufu.
But like, if you're actually craving the good thing, like get the good thing.
Yeah, just go get the good thing. But
I don't.
In general, when I'm hungover Sunday morning because the after service drinks went a little bit wild on Saturday, like I'm not gonna make myself an Eggs Benedict. I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. 9 times out of 9, baby.
Well, and that's the other crazy thing to me is this whole like getting up and getting dressed and like doing the whole shebang. I'm like, I'm not a person until about 11, and by then
brunch is over.
You're not getting a table. Like it's done. We're not doing this.
It's a no-go, baby. It's a non-starter.
So yeah, stay home, make your own brunch, get some toaster strudel.
Toaster strudels and a bottle of bubbly, and you put the toaster strudels in the bubbly, and that's the mimosa. That's the mimosa.
No, but my favorite thing about toaster strudels is I don't really remember eating them as a kid. I think you introduced me to toaster strudels.
Oh yeah, I did.
And you also have the wrong favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, because I'm not a monster that eats the brown sugar Pop-Tarts.
Only cool people love the brown sugar Pop-Tarts.
I'm glad
you're wrong.
I'm glad that I hardly know any cool people. On that note, I think that the last screaming child at this brunch party just fell off of the planter, so I think their family's going to be heading home. You ready?
Is that an ambulance?
Woo, woo, woo.
Oh. Thank you so much for listening to Love Food Hate Money. Don't forget to leave us a review and a 5-star rating. Check us out on social media and tell 3 friends. If you tell more than 3 friends, we'll know. We only have 4 tops. We can't seat you.
Not gonna accommodate it.
Special thanks to John at Feather Fiction Studios for our original music and all our editing.
Hope to talk to you again soon. I made a mess.